What's going on, everybody out there in the real world? Welcome to Geeks and Goblins, featuring me, the OG Goblin himself, and the wonderful, the lovely, the incomparable, the unmistakable, the fantastic, the beautiful, I don't even know other things to say, Utopian Revolt. How do you do, sir?
What's up? I'm doing good, man. As you can see, a brand new camera angle. I'm gonna rock with this going for. No, I'm just kidding. Still trying to scramble as I found out that one of my cats chewed on my camera cable. Always a
Womp,
lovely thing to come
womp,
home to and to
womp.
find out, especially right before you're about to go live.
Look,
So I'm using my phone right now, and I don't have like any mount. So hope you guys get enjoy this good look at my nose.
it's gonna be great. Like, we're gonna see all the things we never thought we'd see before. It's like an exclusive, first-hand view into this strange new world, and I love it. For one, I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to find out. How have you been? How's the move going? Like, before we get into the business, how have you been?
It's been a little overwhelming, really. A lot of moving parts, a lot of things that need to be done by next Sunday. We're officially here at the new place. But even then, this is a temporary room until our little studio gets constructed. So, yeah, looking forward to having that. I feel like once that's done, everything's going to just click into place. Life is going to start getting more comfortable again. But right now, yeah, things are just moving everywhere, and it's hard to keep up with it. But pretty good other than that. How about yourself, man?
I'm good, man. A move is hard, which is exactly why me and Azu have not done it in 2 years. But I hopefully one day we'll be able to go through that struggle again. But I am
Yeah,
good.
man. It's not easy. It definitely isn't easy, but it's good to hear that you're doing okay, man.
Yeah, bro, we're kicking it. We're kicking it. I'm okay, I guess. I'm a little mentally distraught because this weekend has just been the biggest letdown of weekends that I personally could have ever had. I feel like this year is culminating um into like really like disappointing comic book stuff for me. I hate to sound like that fan, but it is what it is. Uh so yeah, I had to drink on this stream. I don't typically drink on stream, but this one's a drinker, so I'm sipping on a nice glass of Manischewitz.
Mm, yeah. Nah, you've been definitely hyping that up. I myself am sipping on some sweet red. I think it's Il Imperial. It's pretty good.
It's
Total wine.
definitely
Cheap as
fancier
well
than what
too.
I'm drinking.
What happened?
Definitely fancier than what I'm drinking.
I don't think so. I
Probably.
mean, it was just a $12 bottle.
Oh, okay, man. I think I might have beat that by like a couple of bucks. Maybe. I don't remember. I'm at the I think adulthood is really like just starting to buy things because you want it or you feel like you need it regardless of the price, and then you just forget about it.
No, I feel that, man. But kind of want to touch on something you just said. You you said that this weekend has been one of the most disappointing in your recent fandom history, right?
Yeah.
What about it was disappointing?
So I've spoken about this before. The D23 Expo was this weekend, Friday
Yep.
to today. For those who aren't familiar, D23 is the Disney. It's basically Disney's Comic Con. They don't talk about just Marvel or Star Wars. They also hit us with, they hit us with park information. So for Disneyland in California and Disney World in Florida, they also let us know about like even just like new stuff. So like we got an announcement for God, I've forgotten the name of the sequel for Inside Out. If you're familiar with that
Yep.
Disney movie, a couple of other things, a prequel really to the live action Lion King. That's going to be about Mufasa, so that's cool. All on the Disney side, all the stuff was really cool, like so. It was when you get towards the Marvel Lucasfilm side where it just got a little sad for me.
I mean, okay, so I did see that they showed off, and they finally revealed the trailer for Tales of the Jedi and The Mandalorian season 3. and both of those look pretty lit to me. Tales of the Jedi looks like it's going to be some of the best animation we've seen coming from Star Wars, but it's still way too early to say that. And The Mandalorian season 3, I mean, come on, this is the way, like
Oh,
it's
absolutely.
going to be a banger. It's going to be a banger. So, what from Lucasfilm specifically disappointed you?
So okay, I guess Lucasfilm didn't necessarily disappoint me. I was honestly more excited about Lucasfilm at the end of it than I was for the Marvel stuff. So we got what did we get? We got Indiana Jones 5, just some kind of like not even really any confirmations there. They kind of just talked about it. I think the biggest disappointment really was that most of the stuff that they showed at D23 was exclusive to D23. So
Yeah.
we did see the Mandalorian trailer. We did see Tales of the Jedi. Um, we also got trailers for Secret Invasion from Marvel and a couple of other projects, but a lot of the stuff that people really, really wanted to see, they just showed to the audience, which is expected at these kind of things. If they're just going to show it to everybody, why go? So of course there's going to
Yeah.
be that stuff, but I think the problem was with the hype that was built around Comic Con. They announced the film slate at Comic Con. Phase 5, Phase 6, how we're gonna be wrapping up Phase 4, announcing a couple of titles, but they left so many gaps. There was this kind of assumption that we were going to get those gaps filled at D23 because if I have a if I make cereal and I show up at a cookie convention to talk about my cereal, I'm not going to release everything about my cereal. I'm going to wait till the cereal convention, my cereal convention, Chris Cereal. I'm going to wait for Chris Cereal 2022 to tell you about the new color of these cereal flakes. And that's what people expected, but we didn't get an announcement on the new color of the cereal flakes. We got an announcement on, hey, we're changing the cardboard for the box into just paper mache, and we're changing the toucan is gonna have a blue bill instead of an orange bill. That's how it felt. Terrible analogy, but that's literally just what came to my head at that moment.
I love the commitment to the bit too. I mean,
You
that
have
really sold it, you know.
you have to commit.
Um,
You have to commit.
the funny thing about what they showed off at D23, the trailers that they did release, as far as I'm aware, the Mandalorian season 3, the Tales of the Jedi stuff, and the Secret Invasion stuff was shown at Comic Con just behind closed doors. Kind of like what they did at D23 for certain things. Like,
Yeah.
I've been hearing that the Loki season 2 trailer is insane, mind boggling, that it's crazy. I've heard that they showed off a little bit of like what Kang looks like, and I think that's really really cool. It sucks that they don't like really show that to everybody, but I guess they want to keep the exclusivity of these events intact. So yeah, it sucks that they don't show off everything. I think my biggest disappointment out of D23 was the fact that we didn't get any casting information for Fantastic Four.
Oh my god. Like how the so I've talked about this before on the podcast and just in person as well. I feel like we're at a point where Marvel is messing with us for fun a little bit, and it's starting to get insulting. Let me start by saying Marvel is not entitled to show us anything. Like, we are fortunate that these things get shown at Comic-Con and at D23. Let me get that out of the way. I don't want to sound like an entitled fan because I'm not. But what I am going to say is I think it's a little bullshit. I think it's a little bullshit for them to give us a tweet as an announcement. Because
Yeah.
it's summed up to a tweet. Moving on to the Fantastic Four. Matt Shackman is going to be directing. And on to Iron Wars. What? Are you kidding? Like,
Oh
Are
my
you are you
goodness.
kidding me? It hurt, man. It absolutely hurt. And forget the rumors, forget the John Boyega stuff, forget the Doctor Doom. People think Henry Cavill is going to be Doctor Doom. Forget all of that stuff. Even if there were no rumors swirling around it, they've built it up so much. We've been talking about the Fantastic Four for I think 2 years now,
Mhm.
and we still don't have a casting announcement for something we know is coming. I just don't understand it.
And the funny thing is that like we know that they have at least a lot of the casting already locked down. So they're just dragging this out. I guess they don't want to announce everything this year because they do need to kind of like drip feed a little bit. I don't know though. It's weird. It's weird. Now I do want to like follow this up with my Fantastic Four not having a casting was my biggest disappointment of D23. My most hyped moment of D23 arguably was finding out that Daredevil is going to be 18 episodes, not the freaking 6 or 7 that we're used to with Disney Plus shows.
Honestly, my most hype moment is starting to turn into all the stuff they talked about today with the parks. We're going to be getting Encanto in the parks. We're going to be getting Coco in the parks. The Incredible Hulk is finally going to be in the parks as a character that you can do meet and greet with. Like, what else? There's some really cool stuff. There's now a confirmed new Avengers ride, which looks really cool at Disneyland, where it's kind of like for anyone that's been to Disneyland or Disney World, it's kind of like those rides where you get in and you just kind of experience this large experience around you. Anyone that's seen the Transformers ride at Universal, it's going to be kind of like that, but it takes place in the multiverse, in a place where Thanos won. So you're fighting King Thanos, and they've got a bunch of... You'll apparently team up with, like, everybody from the MCU. It looked kind of cool. They showed key art. But that was the most exciting stuff for me from D23. Like, Marvel just didn't bring it home for me. They didn't bring it home for me at all.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. Some of the regular Disney stuff and the Pixar stuff sounded cool. Like, there's this new animated movie coming out called Wish.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a blend of the old watercolor animation style that Disney was used to be known for, but also like their CG. And they showed off like a screenshot of the movie, and it looks stunning. Like it's something that I haven't really seen before in movies, and I think that was really cool. And there's some other stuff like they showed off Willow finally. Yep. After years and years talking about Willow, they showed that off, and it looks really, really cool. But yeah, I agree with you. I think the Marvel side of things was very lacking. But I feel like that's only natural given how massive SDCC was.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Part of me wants to feel like... Part of me is beginning to feel like I think we've given them too much credit for what they've done. I feel like post-Endgame, we're in a post-Endgame world, right? So they can do whatever they want, but we also kind of have to deal with the consequences of helping make this such a successful franchise, because we are still dealing with a company that doesn't know how to utilize a lot of the characters that they have. So what people are calling arguably like the biggest announcement was the lineup for the Thunderbolts, which is essentially Marvel's Suicide Squad. And it consists of, I'm not going to get into all the characters, but it consists of essentially all super soldiers and nobody with powers. And the joke is like right now, they better not be fighting anybody that has any powers because they're all going to get washed. Like, they're all literally just humans. Like, the most powerful person on that team is likely Bucky, the Winter Soldier. And that's just like minor. That's just very minor. I worry about the projects that we're getting, but we didn't get any Moon Knight 2 announcement. We got trailers for Secret Invasion. Excuse me. We got a trailer for Secret Invasion, which looks really, really good. And we didn't even get anything from the Marvels. We just got... I'm sorry, they got footage. They got D23 exclusive footage. But, I feel like we're at the point where we're so far in with the Marvels and Ant-Man Quantumania and Black Panther, all that exclusive stuff, they would be showing out to the rest of the world by now to build up that hype, because my hype for Quantumania is high, but it could be higher. My hype for the Marvels is what it is. And, everybody's hyped for Black Panther. Honestly, I don't think they need to show anything for Black Panther. We are all going to be as hyped for Black Panther as we're going to be. There's nothing more they need to add to that. But collectively, I give the Marvel portion of it just a 2 out of 5, I guess. If I had to rate it, it wasn't strong. It wasn't strong. We were even Kevin Feige said he's gonna like blow people's minds, but there's nothing mind blowing.
you kind of like just sparked something inside me when you mentioned Moon Knight season two. First of all, it's BS that we don't know anything about it
I
yet.
know.
We know that it's in the works because why else would they end the first season with such a cliffhanger, right? But they did announce Werewolf by Night. What are they calling it? It's not a show. It's not a movie. It's a is it a experience?
It's
What is
a
that?
Halloween special. If they've called it anything else, pardon me for not knowing, but I do not know. But honestly, okay, you know what? Thank you for bringing it up because it honestly is probably for me and a lot of other people, it was probably the most exciting thing that they showed off. It's raw, it's violent, way more violent than I would expect from a Disney plus just Disney alone, anything that they would show. There were arms being ripped off and blood splatting on walls. It looked beautiful, but like, you know, that's just not it just wasn't what I wanted to see. So yeah, I'm disappointed. I know other people are happy. I'm allowed to be disappointed, damn it. Let me be
Yeah, of course.
disappointed. But I'm excited for that. That was probably the most exciting thing that they showed. And it does look good. Guys, go check out the Werewolf by Night trailer to see what we're talking about. A completely different vibe for the MCU and for Disney Plus. It's creepy how different of a vibe it is. It's something you would see on FX.
I wonder if the end of the Halloween special is going to maybe announce Moon Knight season two. Who knows? Who knows? It'd be really cool to see Moon Knight versus Werewolf by Night, and that'd be amazing. That's a classic matchup. It's a matchup that you put me on with the comic books and that type of stuff.
I do what I can.
So I really want to see that on the silver screen. But you know what else was disappointing this weekend?
Does it rhyme with to be loft and
Yes.
Babassin's seed?
Okay, so that second part not so much. That first part 100%. Anything that wasn't Assassin's Creed related at the Ubisoft Forward yesterday was a massive disappointment.
It's Ubisoft.
Um, yeah, I mean, you're right. You're right. We got some updates on Mario and Rabbids, Sparks of Hope. That looked okay. It looked good. Honestly, combat wise, it looked more than good. I want to give it some credit. It looks like it's gonna have that tactical combat from the first game, but they're making it a lot more free flowing with the movement, so it feels more like a Mario game. I thought that aspect was decent,
Hmm.
but also it's not a game that like interests me very much. Um, we got some updates on the Division. The Division 2 is getting more DLC somehow. We're going into year 5 of Division 2. We're going to year 6 of For Honor. Say what you will about Ubisoft, but they know how to support their games for a very long time, albeit they're not like the best games. But we got also the Division free to play game coming out, the Division mobile game, Rainbow Six Mobile. It was weird though.
Ugh.
Most of the presentation felt like it was around mobile games. But then, we got to the very end, which, is very near and dear to my heart, the Assassin's Creed section. They called it the first ever Assassin's Creed showcase. So I feel like we are going to be getting more of these in the future. But they announced like the slate of games for the future. We have Assassin's Creed Mirage coming out next year. They're saying it's going to go back to the basics, back to the parkour, stealth, assassinations, that type of stuff. And I'm so excited about it. I very nearly pre-ordered, but I want to see gameplay. I want to see what it looks like before I do that. I'm probably gonna get it anyways, so to be completely
Oh yeah,
honest.
no, you're getting it. Like, come on.
But this is something I want to talk to you about. They also finally revealed what Assassin's Creed Infinity is, and they also introduced two games that will be part of Assassin's Creed Infinity: Codename Red, which is set in feudal Japan, and Codename Hexa, which is set probably in the Holy Roman Empire, the witch hunt of in that era. But yeah, those are the two main games for Infinity, and that's where I kind of want to start off with you.
You know, I gotta be honest. Even after watching the showcase, I don't understand what Assassin's Creed Infinity is. Like they keep referring to it as not so much a game, but I remember them like pushing heavily that it was going to be a live service game. So I don't understand the concept really. I know some of the verbiage there, and correct me if I'm wrong, was like kind of a hub. world.
Mhm.
I don't understand. Maybe you can make it a little bit clearer for me.
So I was very much in the same boat after the showcase, and I was just trying to go through the entire internet, see if I can find some answers. There was a certain interviews with the narrative director of Mirage with GameSpot and IGN, and we did get more information. So, are you familiar with the new World of Assassination hub for Hitman?
No.
So essentially, what it is, it's a hub that connects all three games together. So you launch. It's basically like a launcher. You open the launcher. You can play the Hitman One stuff, the Hitman Two stuff, and the Hitman Three stuff. With Assassin's Creed Infinity, it sounds like that's what is it's going to be. You're going to have. It's going to be like your own Animus, is what they're calling it. So you're going to have Codename Red. If you want to play Japan, go play Codename Red through Infinity. If you want to play Hexa, go play Hexa. They're apparently also going to be bringing back a standalone multiplayer through Infinity. And what they're saying is that the multiplayer more than likely is going to be spanning every single setting that is part of Infinity. So we're talking about Japan, we're talking about Europe,
Yeah.
and any other game that comes out in the future will be part of this launcher. So if you want a modern day story, you can go find that through Infinity, not necessarily through the main games. If you want a multiplayer experience, you launch Infinity, then you do Infinity multiplayer. But each individual game will come as a package that you can buy on top of Infinity. I think the more I think about it, the more it sounds like the future of big video game franchises. We see Call of Duty kind of starting to do the same thing with Warzone. Warzone essentially being a hub for every single Call of Duty that's out. And I think Battlefield is starting to do the same thing. So it's essentially like a glorified launcher, really.
So, I don't want to have hyped up a launcher. I guess I I don't under I'll be honest, that explanation kind of just confused me a little bit more. If I'm being completely honest, I just don't understand what it is. Because if it's a launcher, like they've made such a big deal out of this, like we have GOG, we have the Epic Games Store, we have all this, like we have launchers, and
Mhm.
the reality of it is launchers have been so. And I'm just talking about it from a launcher standpoint. Launchers have been so divisive in the sense that people are dedicated to Steam. People are either going to buy Steam or they're going to buy the game standalone. If they even still do that thing, I don't know. Or they're going to buy it on their console. I don't know based off of that information that did not clear any of it up for me, and that's not a shot at you. You're only explaining what you know, but I, I, how is it going to connect these games? Obviously that is information to that is coming, but it just
Yeah.
doesn't sound like it makes sense. If it's just a launcher, then what makes it any different than Steam or any different than you know GOG, Epic Game Store?
It won't be replacing any of those. It's not a launcher in the traditional essence. It's more, I say launcher only to equate it to those platforms, but it's definitely like a hub. So you open this up and you can choose which Assassin's Creed experience you want. What it sounds like is they're no longer going to be selling games standalone. You're going to have to open up the Infinity application and then buy the games through there. Um, the reason why this excites me very much is because they confirmed that going forward, Assassin's Creed games are not just going to be 150-hour RPGs. They're also going to be coming out with smaller action narrative based experiences like Mirage. So it sounds like Infinity is a way for the Assassin's Creed team to basically do whatever the hell they want. You want to make a big ass game, go ahead and make it. It's going to be part of Infinity. You want to make a smaller story based game, kind of like Mirage or the older Assassin's Creed games, go ahead and make it. It's going to be part of Infinity. And it's essentially just Infinity is going to tie all those games together. The way that they explained it that made the most sense to me is like having your own personal animus where you can choose which setting you want to go into. And I have a feeling that when that Japanese game comes out, when that European game comes out, they're going to keep updating those as they come out with new games. And that's where the live service aspect comes into play. That's what it sounds like to me. There's no confirmation on that, but from what I was able to piece together, that's what it sounds like.
I'll be honest, I don't really know what I was hoping for in Assassin's Creed Infinity. I'd be lying if I said I was hoping for anything in particular, period. But I don't want to say this just doesn't sound like it, but just I don't understand how it all ties together. Uh, I don't understand how it all works in Infinity, if that makes
Right.
sense. You know, if 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 we're talking about a launcher, and I know it's more than a launcher, it's just it sounds like a launcher. Like
Yeah.
it sounds like a
Yeah.
launcher. I've done that. You know, I have loaded into this thing to play another thing. I guess I just don't see how they're making it special right now. I
Yeah.
wish
It's weird.
I my problem is the same that oh wow, we completely forgot to talk about the D23 game portion cuz
Oh
honestly,
yeah.
I can segue into that from this, so this is fine. Um it, I completely hate the way video games are marketed nowadays.
Yeah.
Like I just hate it. It we got the trailer for Mirage. That was dope. It was an Assassin's Creed trailer through and through. It was an Assassin's Creed trailer. But then, you know, we get these cute little teases for Hexa and for the feudal Japan one, codename Red. And you
Mhm.
know, honestly, I could have done without them. I could have done with just a straight up announcement because they don't tell me
Yeah.
anything. Like I remember them saying after they showed the Hexa one, the lady was like, "Ooh, fans are gonna be digging into that one for what? It lasted for 5 seconds. There's nothing to dig into." And frankly, the feudal Japan one was the same. I mean, it was an
Yeah.
assassin with a katana and a hidden blade. Like that is nothing new unless we can brighten up the contrast on a picture and find like Ezio, a tattoo of Ezio on dude's left cheek. Like I don't see where we're going from there. But I just to tie that back in, we don't have to talk about it because it was also a disappointment. Um, they announced a Captain America and Black
Yeah.
Panther game at the Marvel game showcase during D23, which is being headed by Amy Hennig. You'll know that name if you've played any of the Uncharted games. So likely to be a good game, but what is the game? Like, and for me, that game is peak current game marketing. Not only did we just get a cinematic, which is the go-to now for video game marketing. You want to announce your game, give them a bomb-ass cinematic that doesn't fully explain much. But not only do you do that now, we have a new precedent set over there by Disney. Not only can you just give gamers the cinematic, you can also not tell them the title of the game. No title, no project title, no code name, nothing. Cinematic. 4 heroes, 2 players, 1 war, or whatever it was. Like, I thought that was the title. I legitimately thought that was the title for a while before I had to click somewhere and see that they didn't even give us a title for the name of the game. What kind of BS tricky marketing is that?
It's weird though because like a couple years ago, another Disney property, Star Wars, Jedi Fallen Order was announced at E3, and I specifically remember the way that they announced it was they brought the camera over to the crowd.
Yep.
You have Vincent Zampella of the Respawn, like he's basically the leader of Respawn, and they asked him about Jedi, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm happy to finally announce that the game is Jedi Fallen Order. That's it. That's it. No trailer, nothing." So it's like the complete antithesis of what you're just telling me right now about this Captain America game. It's so weird. And but I think what the craziest part about the way that they revealed the Captain America and Black Panther game is that no one knew what type of game it was. I've seen a lot of people speculate that it's going to be a co-op game, it's going to be a co-op action game. Apparently, it's going to be a narrative-driven game, and you're not going to play all 4 characters at the same time. You're going to play as each hero through different settings and periods of the war or whatever the hell it is. It's the strangest thing. Makes no sense.
I I I, I just don't know. I guess I'm excited for the game, but like it just pisses me off. It pisses me off to look at it. Look,
Yeah.
and I guess the thing that pisses me off more, if it's I made a TikTok about it on the Goblin Gang Entertainment TikTok, about how just people right after it came out, people are making TikToks about like, oh, the game looks like it's gonna be amazing. What game? Look, like, what game? This short looks amazing. Sure, yeah, they made a really dope looking cinematic that really was barely as cinematic. There was
Yeah.
like, ooh, sorry, I'm getting mad. I have to like rein myself back in briefly. It was barely a cinematic. It was
Yeah,
barely
man.
anything to talk about besides the fact that okay, we're getting a game with Captain America and Black Panther and two other random characters that takes place during World War II. Uh, cool.
I mean, conceptually, the game sounds amazing. I'm a big fan of Amy Hennig. She was supposed to be making Project Ragtag for Star Wars before EA just kicked her out. It was going to be this really cool like smuggler game. They showed off a what was it, a 10-second teaser years back, and I remember desperately wanting to get that game in my hands, and then it was canceled because fuck EA and all that. Uh, I'm excited about the concept. I just it's like you said, man. This is the new age of video game marketing, and I hate it. And what I hate the most about it is it's probably not going to come out until 2025, 2026, just like Star Wars Eclipse, just like all these other games that have been announced recently.
Don't even get me started on the late release dates. Like, and that you gotta ask: is that to please investors, or is that something that they really want to do? Do you want to have a calendar and like a timeline to say, okay, guys, this is what we're gonna have coming out here, and that's cool. But I just feel like, again, I blame Cyberpunk for this. Really, as much as I love the game, their aggressive marketing, I blame for this. Not that it wasn't like this before, but like I felt like with Cyberpunk, it was especially egregious. The idea of we got that initial Cyberpunk 2077 trailer in I think 6 years before the game came out. I think
Yep.
it was. And then we didn't see anything besides the occasional screenshot for another 4 years. 4 years. They announced a game. Uh, some games don't get announced until like after they've been worked on for 5 years. You hear developers say that
Yep.
a lot. Like, we've been working on this game for 5 years, and we're so finally happy to talk about it. And then we sometimes get gameplay. But I just don't understand what marketing is in gaming right now. And the problem is the fan base, the consumers, we just feed into it. And by we, I don't mean everybody, but a lot of consumers just kind of feed into that trickle marketing until that trickle becomes a puddle, and then they scoop it up with a bucket, and then you splash in your face. Ah, here's Cyberpunk 2077. It's amazing. It's sexy. You're gonna be this, and you're gonna be that, and it's all a lie. It's all a lie, but it's a pretty lie because we have Keanu Reeves, and be excited because Cyberpunk. And then the game comes out, and by the way, we didn't pay anybody to test this bitch. We just decided to release it. Like, it's super pretty. It's gonna be the nicest turd that you've ever played until we fix it. Like, what is that, man? What is that?
Is it the gamers feeding into that, or is it something else? Is it the gamer's fault? Is it the fault of the internet constantly clamoring, oh, we want information, give us this, tell us this, announce that? How much of that do you think plays into this? How much of it do you think is just, these companies wanting to just please the fans and like give them what they're demanding?
I think it's a little bit of both. You know, I think it's a little bit of both. I just had to pull up the stats for this really quick. I do not know when pre-orders for Cyberpunk went live. I don't know, but a day prior to the launch of the game, it racked up 8 million pre-orders. That's $500 million in revenue before the release of the game. That's like for reference, and this is just from the tweet itself as well. For reference, GTA 5 did 800 million on its first day, including pre-orders and day one sales. You know how ridiculous that is? If
Yeah.
Cyberpunk had been good, it might have matched and or surpassed that number. Like, well, no, it would have surpassed that number based off of just like the pre-order revenue. But like, you know, I really do feel like it's a little bit of both. We demand satisfaction. It's just like we were talking about earlier with the D23 stuff, with all the Marvel announcements. You know, we demand that level of satisfaction. I know Kang Dynasty is coming out. I know we're getting more Avengers films. I know we're getting more Marvel stuff. But I need to know about it right now. I need to know about it right now. And it's so funny. I think it's funny that we've come full circle in this conversation because we started this conversation about wanting this information in a company that refuses to give it to us, and how that's affecting them currently with their fan base, versus a company that gave us way too much information and most of it not being true, and how it affected them in the long run. So really, who's doing it right and who's doing it wrong, right?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like when it comes to video games, the best way to do it is the way that like Bethesda tends to do with their video games. Their games have problems. It's not going to be for everybody and all that, but they tend to announce the game like less than a year before it starts coming out, before it launches. And I think that's the way to do it. You know, don't wait too long, but wait the right amount of like time where you actually have stuff and substantial amount of information and content to show off, and then be like, oh yeah, within the end of the year, you'll be able to play it. And if you want, play it on Game Pass day one. Like, come on, that marketing machine, it prints money. Doing
Yep.
what CD Projekt Red did, where they announced the game 6 years prior to even coming out, I feel like everyone should see what happened at launch and realize, hey, listen, that's not the way to go. We should not do that. That's not a good idea. So I don't know, man. It's strange. I feel like every company has to do it a little bit differently. I think as disappointing as D23 was, I feel like Marvel and Disney, by extension, is playing it safe and doing it right. I put right in quotations, because we have years to go before some of these things even come out, like Fantastic Four. Maybe maybe we do need some time before we get into it. I don't know. I don't know.
Man, I just first off, I find it very funny that I feel like if we go back and watch all of our podcasts, what we're on episode 19 now. If we go back
Mhm.
and watch all other nine, just to meet that kind of weird half, all other nine episodes, I feel like half of our episodes we end up talking about Cyberpunk in some capacity, uh, because it's just such an anomaly, man. I If you ask me, I know people talk about AAA games all the time. When we think AAA games, we think Assassin's Creed, we think Skyrim, we think Fallout, we think games like that. Just for reference, I think Cyberpunk 2077 is our first example of an actual quadruple A game. Uh, Other games that I would even bother to put up there are really Call of Duty, but I don't think really anybody would have classified anything quadruple A ever, until Cyberpunk came out. It did so much for just a video game. It did so much. The pre-orders were ridiculous. The hype was through the damn roof. I knew people that weren't into video games that were talking about Cyberpunk, and
Yeah.
that type of hype is reserved for Call of Duty. Call of Duty and GTA, to an extent, another quadruple A franchise,
Yep.
I would say. Um,
Yep.
GTA and Call of Duty are so separate from the typical gaming world, and that they appeal to everybody. Everybody wants a piece of that. Some people determine their purchases based purely on, when is the new Call of Duty coming out? When is the next GTA coming out? And to that extension, also Madden and FIFA and MLB The Show. I'm not going to go as far as to call those quadruple A games, but, you get the idea.
Have that
Cyberpunk,
appeal. Yeah.
Cyberpunk was so in everybody's face. I saw Cyberpunk during sports events. I saw
Yep.
Cyberpunk just plastered around the city in some places. It it's really a product of its own hubris. Like, and by that I mean CD Projekt Red. They were coming off of such a big high with The Witcher
Hmm.
3. And it's a high that, a lot of developers don't get to have. The greatest game in history, the greatest RPG in history, some people call it. One of the, what, if anything, the greatest game in history. I've heard a lot. a whole lot. And you know, they earned that. They made a fantastic game. It had its faults, but altogether it is highly regarded as one of the greatest games of all time. So, you know, you pick up this project and you know, you anybody would have to do this. Anybody would have to do this regardless of who you are, what you do. Music, art, streaming, anything. What am I going to do next? What
Yeah.
I have to what I do next either needs to be amazing on the same level of what I did, or it has to be better. And kudos to that team for trying to do better, but you know, I think the hubris is in the marketing. I think the hubris is in the smoke and mirrors trailer that we got. I think it's all there. They shot for the stars, and they really burned their wings.
I think more so than just the trailer, it was the way that they were talking about the game, how they would show off snippets of the game, like a vertical slice, to the press, and that vertical slice didn't even exist in the game.
Yeah,
So the press would go in there, whoa, this is the best thing that's ever come out in the history of video games. And then the word of mouth started spreading around that, and the hype grew even more and more. But that actual part of the game didn't exist. It was that's weird. It's so super
it's
weird.
really
And
odd.
I want to transition into what Cyberpunk has done since launch, and also stuff that they announced this week during their own event.
Yeah.
But before we transition into that, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Um, in terms of quadruple A games, and this is a serious question,
Okay.
does Fortnite fall into that?
uh, honestly, probably.
Yeah.
Probably. You know, some people would scoff at like me suggesting that it is, but that's a reality. We live in a world where AAA games come out like that. Ridiculous budgets, you know, ridiculous fan base. They put out they receive a ridiculous amount of money. These are games that are going to last for a very, very long time, or that have the production of films, you know. A lot
Yeah.
of movies don't cost as much as some games
Right.
nowadays.
It's
A
it's
lot of movies don't
crazy.
get as much as some games nowadays.
Not even that, man. Like they don't even get the same talent as some video games. Like we have
Yeah.
the likes of Giancarlo Esposito starting to get into video games. Like it's a wrap. It's a wrap. I remember actually like years ago there was a really cool game. I think it was called Wheelman and had Vin Diesel. We're not gonna
Yes.
get into that. Let's transition to Cyberpunk.
Yes.
This week, CD Projekt Red had a Cyberpunk showcase showing off the new Edge Runner anime and showing off that there's a new update coming out. It actually just came out for Cyberpunk
Came out same
2077,
day.
adding transmog, adding a bunch of Edge Runner
Yep.
like tie-in stuff, and I thought that was really cool. I'm happy to see Cyberpunk in a good place now. Expansion. We still don't know if it's going to be a standalone expansion. Yes, I did just disappear for a split second, and now I'm back. Uh, but yeah, we don't know if this is going to be the only expansion that comes out for Cyberpunk.
We
I
do.
think they said that's the only one that's planned. But they did show off a teaser for Phantom Liberty, and it seems like it's going to be set within the campaign of Cyberpunk, not afterwards, but still within the campaign. And I think, have you seen the trailer at all?
Yeah, no, I watched it. I forgot it was even happening. Yeah, I watched it. I definitely I I'm excited, obviously. I love that world. I loved it before Cyberpunk 2077 came out. But I do remember Azu sitting next to me and saying, "I wish I hadn't played it now." Like, so I don't know if I'm going to finish my run now so that way I can just experience it all together.
I feel like the expansion, it would make sense to play it anyways. I think now would be the time to get your playthrough in, especially now with transmog being a thing. You're
Yeah.
telling me that my V doesn't have to look like the stupidest person alive to have good stats? I mean, come on. Now I can actually look like a cyberpunk badass?
Bro,
Hell yeah.
my V right now is running around in a cowboy hat, a jean jacket, jorts, and pink shoes. I got to take a picture and post it in the Discord because he's styling and profiling, my boy. He is gorgeous.
It's funny, man. That I feel like everyone's V looks similarly ridiculous, and I'm so happy that this update came out. There's not really much else to say about this, but I think it with all the negative connotations we've given to Cyberpunk, and rightfully so for the pre-launch and the launch as well. It's nice to see it at a place where people are clamoring for a sequel. They're hoping that there's more expansions coming out. Instead of this being like a one-time thing. And I think the really cool thing about this, and unfortunate to some people, the Phantom Liberty expansion is going to be new gen only. It's completely like discluding the older generation PS4 and Xbox One. And I feel like base Cyberpunk should have done that. Just leave the old gen.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say, I hate to say it, and if you're listening and you don't have a PS5 or a 30 series graphics card or an Xbox Series X, I'm sorry. Y'all gotta go. Y'all gotta get on out. I'm sorry. I don't think it's a bad decision. It limits the development right now. I understand the situation, but some of y'all just gonna have to suck it up, bro. Listen, I get it. The PS5, you can't get it right now. But I can tell you, if you walk into a Best Buy, you don't even have to walk into a Best Buy. I'm gonna do all y'all a favor right now. For anyone that could be listening, will be listening to the future, I'm gonna just do y'all a favor right now. I'm gonna let y'all know that if you go to bestbuy.com right now, bestbuy.com, and you type in Xbox Series X, I guarantee you, if you do that right now, as of 9/11/2022, I can't promise you tomorrow, but if you do that right now, you can add that to the cart. Just do it, bro. I get it. You want the PS5. If it's just for exclusives, don't do what I'm telling you to do. But stop holding off on playing some of these next-gen experiences. Just get yourself a console, boy, and be happy. Just be happy. Just be happy.
The craziest part too is I think Best Buy just announced that they're going to be an official carrier of Xbox All Access. So for $17 a month, I think it's for 20 months, you get an Xbox Series S, you get a controller, and you get Game Pass for those 2 years.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
$17 a month. That's like cheaper than some subscription services out there.
It is. So, like, not to say that people are doing it themselves. I know there's other reasons why people can't get them. But I am saying you guys are going to have to settle in with the idea that developers are going to start leaving the last-gen consoles behind. It's just you're expending resources on, what could be a better experience. So don't expect, Skyrim, or I hate that Elder Scrolls is known as Skyrim. Don't expect Elder Scrolls to come out on PS4 and Xbox, whatever the last Xbox is. I'm so lost in their generations at this point. Don't expect these things to come out, man. Like, just, you can't be mad about it. It's just how it is. It happens in every generation. It's just this generation, unfortunately, came about during COVID, when we didn't expect there to be shortages of everything worldwide. It's unfortunate, but it's not new. This is the nature of the gaming industry. We move on from previous generations of consoles.
I feel like this is the longest time in the history of video games where the previous generation was still supported. I might be wrong. I haven't done any research, and I'm pulling that out of just my head.
Yeah.
But I think this is the longest time that we've had our previous generation be supported, and I think starting next year, to what you said, we're gonna start getting more new gen exclusives. It's time to stop calling it next gen. Also, especially with 2K23 coming out, I've been seeing such a debate on Twitter and the internet. Oh, current gen versus next gen. I'm like, what the hell is current gen? Current gen is the generation that we're on, which is the PS5 and the Xbox Series. What are you talking about?
Well, bro, it's how you sell it, right? I mean, like, I saw something else at Best Buy the other day that's just kind of relative to what you're talking about. I forgot exactly what it was, but it was the most ridiculous product in the world, and it was like 4K compatible. What? Like I forgot what it was. Jesus, it wasn't a DVD player. It wasn't a monitor or a TV. It was literally something that does not benefit from 4K whatsoever. It was like, I think it was a controller or something like that, like like a TV remote. And literally on the box, on the packaging, it says compatible with 4K products.
What
Duh.
does that even mean?
It's how you sell people, bro. You've worked at the store before. You know what it's like to be an employee. Hey, does this 4K does this 4K Fire Stick work on my 4K TV? No, it just says 4K because we want it to say 4K. That's
Oh,
what it is. You have to handhold people, man. You have to do it. And like
yeah.
that's just the average consumer. That is literally just the average consumer. Like, so you have to put next gen because we're building these consoles as next gen, have next gen graphics. I can't confirm this, but I'm pretty sure if I go to the PS5 on like BestBuy.com as an example, if I go to the PS5 on there, I'm gonna see next gen and at least like 3 or 4 of the hit words on the description. All
Oh
new
my goodness.
generation of incredible PlayStation games. That's kind of close.
Yeah,
That's kind of
fairly
close.
close. Yeah.
I don't see
I feel
exactly the
like
words next gen, but I have seen it. It's what people expect, and it helps sell things. People
yeah.
expect that next gen experience.
I think PlayStation is weird because they've definitely made the whole all new thing be their moniker. They're not using like the next gen stuff. Like the new PS Plus, they're calling it the all new PS Plus. Some weird stuff going on there in Japan, but that's fine. Nintendo is very similar with their naming schemes. But yeah, I hear what you're saying. And to what we're talking about, really, I want to say it's very surprising that the Xbox Series moniker hasn't been more confusing for consumers, especially parents. You know what I'm saying? Like the whole Series S, Series X, Xbox One S, Xbox One X.
Yeah, the naming conventions are weird. So I mean, like, if the other consoles were still in the market, which they were when they launched, so yes, there was definitely confusion there. I remember there being confusion there, but like, I do like that Xbox has kind of differentiated themselves in their naming convention as opposed to Sony. Sony just continues, up the ladder, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I do like that Microsoft has kind of gone the whole like we're gonna give it some edge. We're gonna put X on there. Something about X does feel new and it feels sexy, and I like it. I don't know what it is, but I
Oh
like
my
it.
goodness.
That
But
beautiful,
like, isn't it
sexy
much
obelisk next
easier
to your
to
TV.
follow the regular PS5, like the regular PlayStation scheme?
How do you mean?
Like it's much easier to follow PS1, 2, 3, 4
Oh,
than it is
yeah.
Xbox. What was the one after the Xbox 360,
There's the
Xbox
Xbox,
One,
Xbox
Xbox
360,
Series?
Xbox One, Xbox One X, and then it became the Xbox Series X. That's what it was. The Xbox One X. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
weird.
That X is sexy though. That stuff's sexy. I'm not
Oh
gonna
my
lie.
goodness.
All right, I'm not gonna sit here and BS everybody. Xbox consoles are sexy, bro. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah. I love the fact that it looks like a small refrigerator.
Well, go look at the Xbox One X again. Just look at it and just tell me it doesn't scream, you know, it doesn't scream elegance like it does. And I'm sorry, if you don't like the Xbox One X design, but you love the PS2 design, you're bullshitting.
Yeah, you're
You're a
right.
liar.
And I'm not gonna lie, I had an Xbox One X for a good bit there, and you're right. You're right. It did look sexy. It was so sexy.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's the PS2. It's literally just the PS2. If we're gonna be honest, the patent must have ran out. The trademark or something must have ran out, and whoever the designer over there at Xbox was like, guys, we got to jump on this now. We got to get it before like Sega comes back. We got to do something. Because I think it's beautiful. I really do think it's beautiful. And they had some like insane special editions, like the Gears of War 4 special edition Xbox One X.
Yes.
It was
Yes.
nutty. Like Microsoft knows how to shell out those special editions. But
Yeah.
I do have some good news. If you are not a fan of the PlayStation designs, you're in luck. The guy who designed it is retiring, so you'll never have to deal with what the PS5 looks like right now ever again. Which I don't think it's bad, but you know,
I like how unique it is. I don't like the way it looks when you have it sitting horizontally, which is the way that I have it set up right now. But when you have it all vertical, it is very large.
Yeah,
but it looks really cool.
yeah,
And the
it's
fact that you
terrifying.
can swap out the plates and stuff like that, it's so cool.
Yeah, it's different. It's very different. Like I don't know. It feels futuristic. It feels terrifying. It does look like it wants to abduct me, which I'm kind of okay with. I don't like how it just turns on by itself sometimes. There's some weird flaws, man. Like, I'll just, middle of the night, 4 o'clock in the morning, beep, and that red glow just starts happening on the sides, and I think it's my time, and then it just goes to bed. Like, it just shuts right off. Like, what's happening? I don't know what's happening.
It's just reminding you that if it wanted to kill you, it could.
Yeah, yeah. And that's exactly why I don't trust that damn Gundam over there in Japan. That one for one Gundam. I'm pretty sure, man. I'm pretty sure in the middle of the night that thing just like, and then just goes right back. Just like, I don't trust it. It's definitely watching
Oh
me.
my
It's
goodness.
definitely, it's
What
definitely watching
about
us all.
what about that guy from Google who was just fired from Google for saying that the AI is sentient now?
I mean, he's probably right.
Yeah, man.
Like, he's probably right. If we're being honest, I put it all out there at this point. You know,
Dude,
whatever.
it's crazy. I remember like watching movies like I, Robot and thinking, "Oh man, this is a fun movie," because it's like
Hmm.
unrealistic. That's never gonna happen. No, I was fucking wrong. Now I go back and watch that movie and I'm terrified.
Yeah, we're right around that corner, man. We keep playing around. We gonna find out. Like, it's cool though. I probably should stop calling my Alexa the B word though. I should really stop doing that. I'm telling you though, bro, it's scarier and scarier. So as you used to say all the time, like, hey, the robot vacuum, it wakes up in the middle of the night and it talks. And I'm like, stop it. Just that's not an actual fact. That's not an actual fact. That's not what happens. And I was off. We had off days the other day, and I was up until like 4 o'clock in the morning. And lo and behold, I'm literally just laying in bed. I'm watching something on my phone, and all I hear is, "I'm ready to clean." No, 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 you're not. Like, you're not. First off, don't need a reminder. I will clean this home on my own time. Secondly, no one asked you to talk. What happens? What needs to happen for it to just decide to be like, hey, we're gonna clean today? What? Mm-mm. No, very uncomfortable. Very, very uncomfortable
uh,
situation.
I think what makes this a lot more terrifying also is just like how a lot of companies, especially in big tech, they're consolidating just like everything else is. We've seen it with Microsoft purchasing Activision, or purchasing freaking Bethesda. We've seen that in the video game industry. But now we have like Amazon buying Ring, buying Roomba now. They're trying to buy Roomba. So now all of a sudden they're going to have an entire map of the inside of your home and the outside of your home. They're going to have cameras to be able to surveil you. It's crazy stuff, man. I don't know if I like where we're heading as a species.
Look, I'ma say it right now, like I say it in real world conversation all the time. They already do. Look, like,
True,
we're just
true.
we're not opening the door. We're not giving more access. It's none of that. It's already true. You want to lay out in my apartment, bro? Go to the website. Just go to the website. All right. You may not know which one it is, but you got the layout. All right. If the NSA wants to listen in, they've been doing that, bro.
Yeah,
It's this
that's
iPhone
true.
right here. They're probably fans of the podcast. All right, like, our NSA guys, they're probably fans of the podcast. They big chillin'. They're listening right now. All right, I get it. Don't get me wrong. I get it. And do I like it? No, I don't like it just as much as most other people like it. I know I shill for a bunch of things on here, but I'm not about to do that for that. Like, I don't like it just as much as the next guy. But y'all got to stop pretending like this stuff ain't happening already. All right, they have been listening
Yeah.
in. They've been watching. They have the layouts. Like, it's just up to you. Like, I'm not gonna take away my comfort for it. The reality of it is, if I want to secure my home, I'm not gonna not buy a camera because Ring wants to surveil my home.
Yeah,
They're already
I hear
surveilling
you.
my home. Like, I was. This is completely non-gaming related, but I was watching something earlier. Um, I ran across a TikTok and people are talking about Black Panther. And people were like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna go to the theater to see Black Panther, because the world is too crazy right now, and you never know when somebody's gonna like walk in and shoot up the theater." And that's a real thing to say. There's
Yeah.
precedent for that. There's precedent for that, especially with a lot of the things going on in the world right now. Like I can see exactly why the main demographic for Black Panther would kind of be a little hard pressed to go on opening day. I can see that, but like my thing was like it translated to another conversation about just like going to the movie theater in general and being afraid to go into the movie theater. I just I understand anxiety and I understand fear, but I just cannot like put myself in a position to just be afraid to do things. Like maybe I just choose to live with my anxiety over things. I don't know, but just like I just don't want to be I don't want to stop myself from doing something because of something that it could happen. There's so much we wouldn't do.
I mean, at that point, are you even living? If everything that you do is based out of fear, are you really living at that point?
Yeah, like I don't know, man. I don't think so. I think the funnier thing was that secondary conversation I was talking about. A homegirl was like, dude asked me out on a date, and he was like, do you want to go to the movies with me? And she was like, yeah, no, I don't really go to the movie theaters. And he was like, oh, why not? And she explained, like, oh, I'm afraid someone's gonna come to the movie theater and shoot it up. And he was just like, if you don't want to go on a date, you can just say that. And then he just like never talked to her again. And she was like, the audacity of him to think that. And I was like, no, like that does sound like some I'm not really trying to go on this date type stuff.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. I
Just
mean, it's funny though because like to her credit, there are a lot of people like that. I know, Friendly Feline's cousin, for example. She's usually like very anxious about doing things in public, because she's worried about things like that. And I mean, it's the reality of the world that we live in right now. But to what you said, I feel the same exact way. I'm not gonna let that stop me from enjoying myself and doing something that I want to do. If the danger is real, if like there was a news bulletin on the Charlotte Observer saying, "Hey, listen, there's going to be someone trying to shoot up this mall or this movie theater tomorrow. Don't go." Yeah, I won't go. But just an everyday thing, I'm not going to assume that the worst is going to happen. I'll be cautious if anything, but I'm going to go ahead and do it anyways.
yeah, just you can't live in fear. Like I don't know. I guess
Right.
as closing out for this particular episode of Geeks and Goblins, I do want to tell everybody just like kind words to kind of clear that anxiety. Don't live in fear. Like please don't live in fear. Don't stop yourself from doing something, whether it's as big as going to the movie theater for your favorite movie on opening night, or as small as applying for that job that you think you might not be qualified for or might not get. The only thing that's stopping you from doing something irrational or non-irrational is you. Like don't be
Yeah.
afraid to take that step and live your life. Otherwise, one, you're never going to live it, and two, you're going to let outside forces control who you are. Don't let that happen to you. Don't be that person.
100%. And very similarly, I would say like don't live in despair either. We've talked about it time and time again. The world that we live in right now is batshit insane. It's crazy. It's dangerous. It's violent. It's all these scary things for sure. All these negative things for sure. But we have the power to change it. By reaching out to each other, by getting to know each other, we can help change that one person at a time. Just be happy, be positive, and spread that kindness around.
Yeah, yeah. We gotta end the stream on more positive notes all the time.
What makes me very happy and positive and want me to spread kindness around, Doji Goblin?
What's that utopian revolt?
The fact that next week will be our first time ever doing a community week on this channel.
Community week.
Hell yeah, man.
Oh my
Hell yeah.
god. Should I hit him with the schedule
Do
before the visual comes out? There will be a visual schedule, but I'm finna hit y'all with that legit, that
it.
real shit. The schedule right now. As a matter of fact, you've actually got to tell me. I actually don't even know what you're doing tomorrow night.
There's been so much going on, man. I've just completely blanked out. Uh, crap! I was not ready for this. Oh, jeez.
I shiver in anticipation. Where's the
Uh,
sudden pop up screen? I know I don't usually read chat. I don't know why I decided to read that one message.
let's see. Tomorrow night we are going to be. I believe. No, I'm gonna have to like look at my notes. I'm gonna have to look at my notes. Let's continue on to Tuesday. Let's continue on to
Tuesday,
Tuesday.
we are playing as Dusk Falls. To be determined on whether or not that is going to be here on Geeks and Goblins or on that place where everyone should already be subscribed. Because there's some weird things going on with Goblin Gang Entertainment Twitch channel. I don't know what's going on with it. It's odd. So if we do as Dusk Falls on Tuesday, which we are going to do as Dusk Falls on Tuesday, it will be on the original OG Goblin channel, all Geeks and Goblins branded, all Goblin Gang Entertainment branded, but that is where it will be because As Dusk Falls has Twitch integration that will allow all of you to be able to jump in and help make the decisions. That is the only reason we are going on over there. It's not going to become a consistent thing. We're going for As Dusk Falls until I can figure out this Goblin Gang Entertainment Twitch situation. But Wednesday, we are taking some time off so that we can breathe a little bit because I think we'll have had enough of y'all at that point. Then Thursday, TMT Thursday, we are going to be
Yes.
closing out TMNT Shredder's Revenge. We're going to be finishing that off, as well as playing some Knockout City. The Turtles are in Knockout City. So what better reason to jump back into an old game? Terraria on Friday with the lovely Utopian Revolt. He's the Terraria guy. I'll never fully understand you cozy game people, but I will be there in the chat. I will be watching. And Saturday, of course, Geeks and Goblins. We're not going to withhold that from you just because it's community night. We do it for you, the people. Take
Yeah.
back your podcast. It is yours, as Bane would say. And then Sunday, we are closing out the community week with the big old community night featuring Fall Guys, Multiverses, and Jackbox. So, if you want to hop into some Fall Guys, see if you are the #1 contender in the Discord, hop on through. If you want to get your blank beat in some Multiverses, if you think that your Finn and your Jake is top tier, come on through and show it off to the rest of the community. I'm sure Sage will be happy to hear that one.
Oh, 100%.
And then come and enjoy the night closing out with some wonderful Jackbox party games. Please, we look forward to seeing all of you all there. As we have said, it is a community week. That means you're all welcome to come and join in on the fun. If you're a well-known and trusted community member and you say you want to join in on the game, you are more than welcome. We will send the request. Maybe not for chat for some of y'all, but you are more than welcome to get in on the fun. This is for you guys to give back, and we may have some other little surprises in the works in between.
Yeah, and I'll go ahead and spoil one of the surprises right now. Terraria. When we do Terraria on Friday, we will be doing a giveaway. So 4 lucky people who are going to be watching in the audience will be able to join in on our Goblin Gang world that we have, or the new one that I had to create after the messiness of the computer. But yes, we will have a giveaway of 4 Terraria keys on Friday.
Lovely, lovely. Who knows? I might get into it after that. I'm gonna be a watcher, so Am I eligible? Does that make me eligible?
I don't know, man. We'll have to talk about that.
That's sus as hell, bro. That's sus as hell. I don't like your
You'll get all
ceiling
for
lamp
it.
anymore.
Oh, jeez.
All right,
And,
everybody. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Geeks and Goblins as we lead into Community Week. It is always a pleasure sitting here talking with you, Utopian Revolts. Always, always a pleasure. I can't wait till we can get this into an actual studio environment one day. That will be lit.
oh, yeah, man. Hell yeah. And then going to all the events and stuff. Geeks and Goblins and Goblin Gang Entertainment, guys. Keep it coming. We're going to be going places.
Y'all don't even know. Y'all even know. Y'all not ready. Y'all aren't ready. Utopian Revolt, I will see you on the stream tomorrow. Everybody else, you take it easy. Have a good night. Go watch House of the Dragon. Go watch something. I gotta catch up on Game of Thrones. We haven't even talked about frickin' Lord of the Rings yet at all. Uh, yeah, we're out of here. We're done. Goodbye. Good night. Take it easy. Bye.